Hello and welcome to the Work Hates podcast. I'm Bron Lewis. This is Brady Blake. Everyone has a nightmare work story, whether it is a dreadful boss, a shitty workplace, or an insufferable colleague. And if you've had none of those things, chances are you're the problem.
You are the problem. Today we are joined by comedian, my favourite person on Instagram, and recently new father, Red Richardson.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very well.
We're great. You
Thanks
just had a
for having
baby.
me. Yeah, well, I didn't. My wife did.
Okay, well then, phew.
Yeah.
How old's your baby?
5 weeks.
Oh, tiny.
Fuck. How did you swing that one?
Wow, I know what you mean. I'm in Australia. I couldn't be farther away.
No.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
So and you got here last week.
Yeah.
So when your baby was 4 weeks
Yeah.
old, it does sound like I'm trying to put you through a guilt trip.
Yeah,
here, but
no,
I'm
I know.
not.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. So you was that? Was
Don't
that
worry, I'm not a
hard
feminist.
to-
It's okay.
Did you just not? Did the baby come early or?
No. Weirdly, my wife was like, just go do it. I don't
Wow.
know what that says.
That's
but,
fucking love. She's like, it's going to be easier.
Without
Not looking after
you.
2 babies. Yeah.
Her mum's moved in. It's fine.
nice.
Oh, great.
Well,
I'll be
congratulations.
back soon. Yeah, thank you.
You're
But you've
missing
had the tour
the
booked in,
hardest
so
bit.
you've got to fucking do it. That's
Yeah,
what
of
I was
course.
saying.
It's
You know
the
what I
job.
mean? Yeah, it's a fucking job.
You know, if you're in the army.
That's
You
right.
gotta like, sorry, Hitler.
That's
We
right.
just had a 2-week-old. Do you mind holding off on the war?
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
love,
that's
I love
what
how
it
you did a
is.
military comparison like you're a fucking hero now.
Soldier.
Yeah.
A Marine.
So you got here last week, and are you enjoying Australia?
Yeah, it's great. Your people are nice. Yeah, you're even like even in the airport, people are nice.
Yeah, I have.
We can be cunts though. You
Really?
watch out. Yeah.
What's the? I see a lot of when I stopped in Perth to do transfer to.
Oh yeah, don't get out in Perth.
Yeah,
That's where
but there was
Brett's
loads
from.
of guys just sort of with mullets and moustaches,
Yeah.
and they were all
High vis.
high vis going up
Yes.
north.
Yeah. You get Perth Airport. So funny. It's the only place. Like if you go to lounges all across, the world and
Yeah.
Australia, it's like people in suits and having coffees and lattes and very like to-do people or whatever. You go to Perth, everyone's like, "G'day, cunt," and they got
Yeah.
high vis because the people who are in the clubs over there are all the miners that just fly every fucking day.
Okay.
Yeah, they do like stints. They'll do 1 week on, 1 week off, or 2 weeks on, 2 weeks
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
And Perth Airport is just full of fucking bogans.
Oh,
with
nice.
heaps of money.
On
Really?
Yeah.
So
What
much
they get
money.
paid shitloads to go up north.
Heaps. Yeah.
Why is that danger money?
Yeah, and also the lifestyle to be like I think my cousin does it. He's like 3 weeks away, 1 week at home, or sometimes it's 6 weeks away, 1 week at home, no days off.
Fuck.
When you're there, there's no
And you're
days
out
off.
in just 50-degree heat.
yeah,
2-degree heat in the middle
What
of
are they
fucking
doing?
nowhere. Well, I mean, they're doing heaps of
Digging.
shit. They're like some of them, digging. They're in mines. Like there's engineers up there. There's carpenters, construction.
Lots of hard labour.
But when I was, because my dad always worked in the mines, but we were at Kalgoorlie, which is 6 hours away.
Yeah.
But then he worked at a mine site, which is only an hour and a half from home. So that was pretty good. But as soon as I turned 18, Dad's like, I can get you like $300,000 job, $300,000
Fucking
hell.
job in the mines. All my mates went, but the problem is when you go to the mines, it's hard to leave the mines
Yeah,
because
why
you've got to
would you?
get back to like a $90,000
the golden
job.
handcuffs.
And you're
Why
like-
would you ever leave it?
The golden handcuffs.
And is the job not good?
It's hard work and it's isolating because you're up. I mean, they feed you well. There's a gym, but it's fucking boring.
Is there a bar?
Yes. So they monitor your drinks.
Oh, really?
So sometimes they'll only give you 2 mid-strength beers, but they breathalyze because everyone
On the
fucking
morning.
Perth's a pisshead.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
breathalyze you before you go into the mine site.
And
Oh,
if you
really?
blow over,
They'll fire you instantly.
you get fired instantly and
the
sent
spot.
home.
Fuck.
I would have been fired day one.
So that can be from the night before. You could be
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Jeez.
And and then where they leave, they get super, super drunk at the airport, and then they fly back, whatever. And then on the planes, these poor air hostesses have to deal with these awful, unruly people. My cousin was telling me that one of his mates got fired because he was sitting there, and this woman who was not a miner, she stood up to go to the bathroom and he just wouldn't move, so she had to like kind of move past him, and while her bottom was in his face, he motorboated it. And he got fined. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking
wait.
hell.
He wasn't at work. I mean, should he been fired for that?
right.
Hey, what do you do? Growl her ass out? It's a little courtesy. It's nice. It's nice to feel loved. A kiss on the cheek.
And then so what? It's 300 grand a year. That's a lot, though.
Dude, it's
It's so much money. Yeah.
Because there was a big time in Western Australia where there was the mining boom was about 10, 15 years ago. and they were just like any idiot, they were just like, here's a mop, you can clean a toilet for $300,000 a year. You know what I mean? It was just a big peak of it, and then it died off. But the money's still there. All my mates got caught in the fucking golden handcuffs out of high school.
But surely they can retire quite young.
You'd think that, but we are idiots. And they
Jet
do is they
skis.
buy jet skis,
Trucks.
they buy they buy $200,000 cars, houses, holiday homes, Bali. You end up blowing half of it up your fucking nose,
Yeah.
partying hard, and then don't have anything. And that's how.
So I suppose they were there for 6 weeks. They come back and just get hammered for a week.
Yeah, 100%. And then it's even my mates were like, you go to the casino. I'm like, oh, I got no money. We can't go out. They're like, don't worry, I'll pay for everything.
Really?
Please connect with me as a human. I'm
Just please,
so lonely.
hey, it's Tuesday at 8 a.m. Can you come out and get on the bags with me? And I'm like, I guess I'll skip Tave.
Isn't coke really expensive and shit here?
It's
apparently.
$350
Oh,
Really?
for a bag.
Really?
Yeah, and it's real bad.
Yeah. So why do people do it?
We're bored.
And also, Australia, we don't know any different.
Yeah.
So we don't know if it's what it's supposed to be like.
Well, I mean, it's crap in England as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I
I think everywhere.
But
Apparently
it's cheap-
like
it's cheap
The
in
average
England.
gram is like 8% pure.
Because I went to the UK and doing coke because I loved cocaine a period of my life where I loved it a lot, and you can probably tell.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can see it in my eyes because as I was saying, I started to a single tear
Coke period is definitely.
in my biography. Yeah. And I went to the UK, and doing coke in the UK made me stop doing it in Australia because
Really?
it was way better.
Ah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh no, I've done close to the best I can do. And then when I went to Australia, I was like, this is shit.
But then you get people who go, "Oh, you haven't done it unless you go to Peru."
Yeah.
That's the real. But surely your South America is that way. Can you not just get it? Why is it so hard to get it here?
We don't like boats near our country because we're quite racist because we assume they're illegal immigrants.
Ah.
We shoot them down.
We shoot them.
So who's trying to come here?
No,
Anyone from a poor country is trying
Yeah.
to get here on a boat.
Really? But
Yeah.
where would they? Because in the UK, it would be like people go to France and then. But you're like in the middle of fucking nowhere.
I know it, yeah.
They will get on boats and try and come. And once they're in, we used to have a policy that we try and, which is good because it's a refugee policy. We're trying to rehouse them, but it's such a hot political thing. The Liberal Labor, how they deal with it, really is how they win elections. They're like, oh, we'll fucking sink the boats.
Yeah.
And crazy redneck Australians will be like, yeah, they're gonna shoot them. Great. And
Yeah.
it's
But they must be
insane.
sailing from far.
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, like a lot of them die. Oh, anywhere, Sri Lanka, Southeast Asia.
Okay, yeah,
Southeast
yeah,
Asia
yeah.
is pretty close, you know.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, and then they just jam the boats full, and then they all
it's
a
awful.
lot of them just die anyway.
And you guys always
Awful.
get busted trying to smuggle drugs to Bali. There's always some
We-
Aussie on death row out there.
Yeah, we have heaps of them out there.
Why?
I think it's
What are they
because
doing?
I think it's because they're
We're a
not
big
very
fan.
smart, and they're people who are like, as if I'm going to get caught because like that we assume that their security isn't as good as.
Why don't they just work in the
ours.
mines?
Oh, exactly. It's
That
great.
seems like as much money
does.
as
It does.
20 bags of weed.
Have you
would
heard
get
of
them.
the Bali Nine?
Yeah, and what?
Yeah.
I can't remember the outcome. Were they all killed?
Two of them were.
Two shot.
Two of them were shot, and then the lady. There was one lady in there, and I think she was released first. And then
Were they trying to get
recently-
heroin
They were trying to get heroin. They had strapped heroin all over their bodies.
back to Australia, or were they trying to take it there?
but they were caught obviously over
Ah,
there.
yeah,
They were
yeah.
coming back to
Oh, so they're
Australia.
trying to come back here.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And they were covered. Covered. She was wearing a dress, so I think that really threw them because she was quite.
She was quite a butch
androgynous
figure. Yeah, yeah.
person. They were
Yeah.
like, "What the hell is she in a dress for?" And then
What's
they.
this truck driver doing in a dress?
yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You sit, you're like androgynous, or like look like a bloody bloke in a dress.
Yeah.
And then but they've only just been released, I think, this year. I think the last one.
And why did the other two get killed and the rest?
Because they were like the ringleaders.
Okay.
I think they saw them as like and also like one of the guys was like 18 years old. I know.
Was it huge out here then?
Huge?
When
Because
was this again?
It was because it was actually shortly
10
after
years ago.
Chappelle. No, it was like 20
20?
years ago,
Yeah.
over 20 years ago, because it was Chappelle. It was shortly after Chappelle Corby. You heard of her?
No.
She was
Okay.
she smuggled drugs to Bali in the boogie board bag, all the marijuana.
Okay.
That's probably the most famous one.
Okay, and what happened to her?
She's on Dancing with the Stars now or something.
But she was in a jail in Bali for like, I don't know, 12 years.
No way.
Yeah. And everyone was up in arms about that because she was like this like beautiful bogan from the Gold Coast or something like that. And everyone was like, oh, just let her go. She didn't know it was in her bag. But she had like 20 kilos of chuff in her bag. They're like, just let her come.
And where was she trying? She was trying to come back.
No, she was taking it to Bali.
Which makes
my
no
God,
sense.
yeah.
Which makes no sense at all.
Well, you can make more money off Australians there, but it doesn't really, you know what I mean? Like you could grow it there. Did you know what the latest one, which is the funnest one?
What one?
So an Australian, I think he's an ex-footballer. He's been arrested because he set up a wank joint in Bali.
What do you mean?
Like a
wank joint?
fucking brothel or whatever.
So say
Wank
that.
Yeah, rub and
Wank joint?
wank joint, a rub and tug.
Oh, okay, like a
Like a
massage,
massage
happy
parlour.
ending.
Happy ending massage parlor that probably offers a bit extra stuff. But in Bali, I was like, there's probably 10,000, but why would you go over to such a flooded market of that and set it up?
Yeah.
But he set up essentially a brothel over there, and he's been arrested, and they're trying to extradite him back over.
Oh, because it is illegal there.
Yeah, prostitution's illegal, yes.
Oh, gosh.
But it's pretty crazy going to like Bali, which is probably the king of, one of the places where I would assume all those guys would go and going, you know what this place needs? One more wank joint.
The locals would have been like, what are you doing? This is our This is our forte.
Surely it's
Fuck
not
off.
that profitable as well.
Yeah, I
Well,
know.
Well, because it'd be cheaper, wouldn't it?
No, it
dirt
wouldn't be
cheap.
cheaper because hang with me on this one. So Bali used to be a cheap place Australians would go because it would be $2 beers, $3 beers. But because it's so flooded with Australians, the price has gone up to nearly everything's the same. So if you go to Seminyak or you go to Kuta, everything's on fucking par. The accommodation might be cheaper, but you'll still be paying $9, $10 for a beer. The food's gone up, and then that whole area, it's all about getting massages and eating at fancy restaurants. It's the fucking same price.
Well,
Like
it's
White
funny
Lotus.
that, like, I've been to India and Thailand and stuff, and when I'm there, you always meet sort of English hippies, and they're like, "Oh, it's so good to be here because it's not like corporate UK," but it's like, no, you just enjoy it because out here you're loaded.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
that's, and they complain about the price. It's like, I mean, a beer shouldn't be 20p.
Yeah.
Because then no one's out, you know what I mean? It's that sort of like, so there's a lot of people who go out and say it's for spiritual reasons, but actually it's like, no, just out here you're basically the CEO of Coca-Cola. You know what I mean?
You can afford slaves now. Just say what it is.
Yeah, you just were like, no, I didn't like the grind of the UK, and it's like, no, you just what do they call them? The in a lot of Asian
Pedophiles.
countries, no, they say
Sorry.
it's losers back home. LBH apparently. Is
Right.
big-
All the old guys, like, man.
Yeah.
When you go to, because my cousin lives in Vientiane, which is in Laos, and his group of mates, they all look the fucking same. They're all bald. You know what I mean? Like, a specific group of dude is like, they all look the fucking same.
Yeah.
That's I don't know if either of you guys are watching White Lotus. They have it's set in Thailand this year, and all of the white guys, expats over there, they're all old bald guys, and they've got these stunning girlfriends.
Yeah,
and everyone's like, I don't know if this is. I think there's this one episode, a recent one, where the rich white lady's trying to like coach the young Thai women like out of that. Like, you don't have to be with him. Like, I can set you up with someone younger, nicer back home. Like, he's yucky. And like, I love him. It's like, no, yucky.
But if you retire, like, and then you get like your pension or whatever, like, say you got 200 grand in fucking your super or whatever, you could really stretch it out in one of those countries and fucking live like a king. I could fucking see
I can see you doing this, Brady.
I reckon I'd live in probably like Vietnam. I fucking love Vietnam.
Yeah.
I love riding.
How
on
far are
boats.
you from Bali and all that lot from here then?
It's about 6 hours. But I'm from Perth, so I've been to Bali like 20 times. I've got so many stamps. Also, it's
you had Christmas there, didn't you?
Yeah,
By
I had
yourself.
Christmas in Bali because it was cheaper to fly to Perth to Bali to Melbourne than it is to fly from Perth to Melbourne.
Why?
I asked the same. It was cheaper, so it was going to cost me $1,200.
Is that what you told your parents?
No, but the thing is, I've been to Bali so many times, I don't want to go back. Like, I'm done with that country.
Why?
because I went there all in my 1920s because it was, you know, like you guys have like a weekend away somewhere and you go, I don't know, hire a caravan or whatever.
So how long's the flight?
Fucking 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Okay.
So and it would cost, sometimes it used to be like $300 or $200 return.
Oh my God.
So you'd go there for a blinder of a weekend. You'd rock up on Thursday, get fucking pissed, back on the plane Sunday, back to work.
Do they hate Australians there?
They hate us. We're the worst cunts in the world.
It's the same as Spain and the UK because we go and do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
I can piss on the flight on the way over. all the get off. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Is there heaps of fights on those planes?
Yeah, all the time. It's always a plane getting landed somewhere it wasn't meant to because someone's fucking got their cock out and tried to run into the pilot and stuff like that.
I was just trying to fuck the pilot. You can't do anything anymore.
But we have stag and hen do's all the time. So they'll always be dressed as like a Roman emperor or something like that. It just makes it so much worse.
God, the medieval guy tried to fuck me. Yeah.
Actually, when I went to Turkey many years ago in this place called Bodrum, and it was full of British people.
Yeah, that was for a bit. I think that sort of cooled off a bit. I think their new leader's a bit like, nah.
We don't want 80
Erdogan or whatever it's called.
A group of drunk Englishmen, like the lads, is a very intimidating force to see because they're singing and chanting and they're about 20 fucking pints deep. If you see it away, I'm like, fuck, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I think like we're lucky we're not close to some sort of like stricter countries in terms of like, because Bali can be quite ruthless.
Yes.
I think if you fuck around in Thailand, you can get in big trouble.
Yeah.
But Spain, they've turned on us like big time,
and rightly so.
But they've like banned people buying homes there and stuff like that. Yeah, they've had enough because it's been 25 years of just people just fucking pissing in the street, and they think it's like not a real place.
Yeah,
it's just their weekend.
Yeah,
when actually that's someone's door that you've just taken a shit in. You have it in Thailand though. It's like you see like people who go over there think that all the women are just sort of
their objects.
You go, oh, how much? And it's like, no, it's not. Like, I feel sorry if you're a masseuse in Thailand and like a serious one. Yeah, because. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, this is a wank joint. Like, no, it's actually a beauty salon.
Yeah, you end every day at work explaining to someone that they're not getting jacked off.
It's awful.
As soon as you see a white bowl guy coming in, you're like, no!
Yeah.
I love when, because my brother, like, he's pretty chill, like, not compared to me, but when he went to Japan, because Japan's like a real respectful country and like, you know, and he got so fucking maggot. Like mum had footage of, my mum was like, oh my God, you should believe what your brother's doing. He let the train door open and he spewed up noodles out of the train, and then he passed out of the train station like, and they're like, what is going on?
What are you doing? Why would you behave like that?
Why would you? I had to piss on the floor. You're like, no.
Yucky.
No, you go to Europe and you drive through the town and everyone's just sat around like normally. You know, the teenagers are playing chess or whatever. It's just not like that in England. But Australia's not. I think you guys are pretty similar to us.
Yeah, I think we're not too dissimilar. We'd never say that you guys are worse than us.
Is Prague now a party place for the UK?
Yeah, that's another one.
Because I've always wanted to go to Prague because it looks fucking beautiful or whatever. Yeah. But someone's like, oh yeah, it's a fucking party town. Yeah, it's stag do's. I was like, what?
Well, it's both. You can do both.
Okay, go.
Yeah.
You do whatever you want, Brady.
Good, and what about, there's an Australian podcast that's huge in the UK called Case File. Have you heard of that? That is that's massive in the UK.
Yeah. Is that ours? Is it?
Yeah, and it's just this guy with the most grim accent ever.
It's my mum loves his voice. Yeah. It's awful.
He sounds like he's killed someone.
He's burying a body while he's fucking on the pod.
And he's got a really, really ochre accent, and he's obviously not written it because he mispronounces a lot of the words.
Yeah.
Fuck, is it me?
He could be. And he's anonymous. Like maybe someone has found him, but like he started this podcast. And it's so popular. He'd make so much money from it, but one of the things that he decided to do was remain anonymous.
Well, because he's a murderer.
Yeah.
But he's got this really weird voice, and he's like, it describes, and it's just unnecessary. We're talking about like a child murderer. And then he'll just be like, the day was sunnier than it could have possibly been. She was 4. She looked beautiful. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Has he got his dick out and wanking this or whatever?
Then he'll be saying this, and then he'll be like, do you like fresh fruit and vegetables? You'll do an ad read for HelloFresh. And you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Guys, is the idea of this kid getting savagely murdered making you a bit peckish?
Yeah, no.
Or do I have something for you?
Yeah.
But is there a lot of murder out here? I mean, he makes out that's happening every day.
It does make it sound like that. But
We
no,
we do have like the ones that happen are like we do it well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we didn't have
Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek.
Yeah,
We didn't have it. Like we didn't have any mass shootings. Then all of a sudden we had fucking Port Arthur, which was the biggest one in the world or whatever.
When was that? When was that again?
That was fucking
97 maybe?
97.
And what happened there? That was
He just walked around with a gun and
He went into like this like a very highly populated tourist spot.
Yeah.
And took heaps of guns and just shot absolutely everyone he could see.
Hell.
Yeah, there's there's a documentary on him on Netflix, but there's also another one on it's called Nitram. They do they used to call him because he was backwards. What's his name again? Martin. So Martin backwards is Nitram.
There was a guy at my school we used to call Nitram. We didn't have any clue about that.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
Well,
because
did he shoot everyone in
No,
Port
he didn't
Arthur?
actually. He works in politics now.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
he
so
still has it in him.
different crime.
Well turned out guy.
But I went to Port Arthur because I thought there'd be like stuff,
Yeah.
or a vibe, or you'd be like, oh, this, and then they're like, it's just everything's been removed.
Yeah,
and they just
it's
don't
all,
talk
it was
about it.
Yeah.
it's the worst, one of the worst crimes that ever.
But how many
happened
people
in
were killed?
I don't know, 67. I
Fucking
don't know,
hell.
loads,
Yeah, it
a
was
lot.
That's
Kids.
huge.
He like chased kids.
It's
Oh
down.
my
Yeah, it
God.
was fucked.
Like
But
we
the-
found people hiding. It was awful.
And there was
Like, found
another
people
one
hiding
in
bushes.
Adelaide. Adelaide, there was a Snowtown one where they had all these bodies in the barrel. And they hired at this bank and they just put all these people. It was like,
What do you mean Snowtown?
Snowtown was a place. It's a
Okay.
town in Adelaide, and they had all these bodies in a barrel.
Yeah.
They hired an old bank, and that's
Yeah.
where all the bodies were stored in this barrel. But my mate Kappa went to Snowtown, and he was like walking around filming, and they're like, "Don't fucking film around here. We know what you're fucking doing." But he went to the local pub, and the lady at the pub, he's having a beer, and Nick's like, "Fuck, they've got barrels at this pub. That's kind of fucking weird." And she goes, "You seen the barrels, have you?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's a bit weird." She goes, "Yeah, we don't mind a laugh around here."
Oh my
Oh
god!
my God.
So they intentionally put the barrels there on purpose. So I was like,
cool.
fuck,
Pretty
dude. But it's obviously, if you have a town that's known for that, it attracts a certain
Yeah, of
person
course.
after that. You know what I mean?
Ghouls.
Yeah, ghouls.
Yeah, you
Fuck.
want to go see what's happened. Yeah, no, we don't. We don't have any like. I don't think we don't have lots and lots of murders, like cool ones. We just kill women.
Yeah.
Just that's all.
There's a lot of that because
Yeah,
that's what it
heaps.
makes out on the. It's not like gang killings. It's
No.
more just backpackers.
Or no, it's just like angry men killing their girlfriends
Yeah.
and wives.
And then there's like, I mean, what is there that area? Because they do that in Wall Creek. They see like loads of people go missing there. It's massive in the outback.
Oh yeah, there was this. We had a really an infamous killer called Ivan Milat, and Belangolo State Forest.
Oh, I heard of him.
And
Yeah.
he just took all the backpackers and kill them and bury them in the forest.
hell.
And they're like, we don't know how many actually killed.
That's horrible.
And they
There's a
don't
lot
know
of-
if we did it with his brother because they were like it's just these inbred people. And then
Ivan, if you're actually listening,
he's
please
dead.
don't hate me. Oh, is he
He's
great?
dead. But you know what he did is when he went to jail, and then he obviously for the rest of his life, and he hated his judge, so he cut off his finger and put it in an envelope to try and send to the judge, and the envelope was covered in blood, and the security guard was like, "Ivan, I'm not going to fucking send this." He's like, "Send it! Please send it!"
Please, I'm about to pass out.
Yeah. What was the finger representing?
I don't know, just I was running out of ideas, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Oh, I've done all these murders. What else can I do? It's like his festival season's coming up for him. Oh, what's the show title? I don't know. I'll send him my finger. He gives a
So,
fuck.
Red, you've been, you're new to me. So, Brett's shown me all your stuff on Instagram
Yeah.
recently, and you're very funny online. Obviously, you've got a show here, which means you do stand up comedy as well.
Yeah.
So, did you do stand up comedy first?
Yes.
Or, yeah. Okay, great.
I've been doing stand-up comedy for 11 years.
Yeah, great. How'd you get into that?
I always wanted to do it, and then finally I did it, basically. Yeah.
In London?
In London.
Yep.
Place called Angel Comedy with Barry Ferns, who's a very good comedian.
Was your first gig amazing?
I had a really good one, my
Oh,
first
great.
gig.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I've done it. And then I remember like thinking, if it goes well, that's just it's just going to work. And then I remember the third gig, I had a terrible one. But that was one of those ones that was comedians. There's like 6 people. in the room.
Awful. Yeah.
But then
awful.
doing that ever since.
Oh,
So,
great. And then
Because the gigs in London, from what I've seen, like can be the best and the worst thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah. Mainly they're good.
Yeah.
Mostly good in London.
I did some open mics like about maybe 8 years ago or something.
Okay,
and
where did you go?
I couldn't remember the names, but I do remember one act and what he did, and I was
What'd
like,
he do?
this rules. He was on stage, and he goes, hang on a sec, guys, and then he ran backstage, and he came back with big white gloves on,
awesome.
and he grabbed the mic and he goes, sorry guys, don't mean to take the Mickey Mouse.
That's actually
Yeah.
Great,
awesome.
great,
That's actually-
great. And I went, oh, I love that. I love that so much.
Did
And
anyone else like that?
No, but I loved it. This is how much I loved it. So 2 nights later, I saw him again, and I was like, yes, I get to see that joke again. But then he goes, oh, sorry guys, I got to get something, and he goes, oh shit, and I noticed that he left the gloves in the audience, and I was in the
my
audience,
God,
so
his
I
biggest
grabbed the
gag.
bag with his stuff and ran it to him up to stage, and he goes, thanks, and I went, no, thank you. And then he put the gloves on, he goes, don't mean to take the Mickey. And it bombed again. I was like, yes!
So do you know that person?
No, I don't. They're probably not.
Yeah.
They're probably killing people out here.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, I was like, I probably shouldn't have said that story. I got a red dot's just on my head. Oh, yeah, funny cunt, are you?
And so then you became huge online. Was this after you'd already made a name for yourself in comedy?
Yeah, I was doing all the
Great.
clubs, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And then I didn't really use Instagram very much. And I just started uploading videos. And now I put up stand-up videos and them.
Yeah.
And yeah, so...
Great.
Yeah, it's a hard one, the internet. You just don't know what's going to work.
Dude, you never know what the
Never
fucking's
know.
going to work. And then sometimes the same thing doesn't work again. Like I was doing stupid car videos for ages that would get a couple million hits. And then you do one now, it's like nothing. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, what do you want this week, Instagram?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Feeding the fucking beast, you know?
Yeah, it's weird. And I put up videos that I'd put up before, so I re-uploaded them when I got more followers, and they got like millions of views when before they'd gotten 10,000. You know.
Yeah.
So it's odd. I don't really know. I don't know what it is.
But you have to post lots now.
I
that
don't
you've
really.
started
I've
that.
slowed down posting a lot. I used to do one a week. Now I do it when I feel like it. Really.
Oh, good.
Yeah, because I kind of
The
it
dream.
was too much of just constantly trying to do it.
And trying to be
Yes.
fucking funny and then uploading and it's fucking
Yeah,
just-
I'd rather upload nothing than just anything. You know.
Yeah. Well, we had a comedian once. She became viral, Sashi Pereira. She became viral on Instagram, and she said you just have to upload once every 3 days. Doesn't matter if it's shit, and then Instagram just keeps rewarding you. And I was like, oh, this feels awful.
And how's she doing? Is she still
she's-
doing that?
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow.
I think she did say she had a big break from it.
Did
I was
she?
like,
Yeah.
you could not sustain that.
No.
I was like, I'm going to do one a week for a whole year, and then about 6 months in, or maybe 3 months, I was like, I can't be fucked.
Yeah, it gets
Yeah.
exhausting.
Yeah.
Well, so I think people get annoyed by you. I really do. I
Yeah.
think, you know, if Instagram's smashing you on everyone, people will go, oh, fuck off, you know?
Yeah.
And you get muted and stuff like that.
Yeah, particularly your friends. You're like, man, we don't find you funny. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this time of the year where it's just constant promotion. Hey guys, sold out tonight, but tomorrow I've got plenty of tickets. Come on down. Artist Pass welcome. They're like, fuck
Oh,
off.
f-
bro. I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
"Sorry,
yeah.
guys,
Yeah,
I
and
have
you
to."
feel like you have to do it because
Yes.
everyone else is doing it, so you got to show
Yeah.
them, I'm doing well.
Yeah,
It's
hell.
that feeding that beast. You know, you got to go. I was like, yeah, I've got to do an upload that I'm selling well. Otherwise, people won't know to come and
It's a
buy
secret.
tickets. And oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
Well, okay, so this podcast is all about awful nightmare work stories.
Yeah.
What is the worst job you've ever had?
Yeah, it's like standing through the filing system. Like, where do I begin?
I've had so many bad ones, like so many. One was there's a place called Chalk Farm in London, which is by Camden, and there was this housing, like there was sort of like 4 sort of not quite high rise, but there was sort of a housing estate where they were like basically there was maintenance guys who did the garden, and I was hired to like mop, so I might have to go up to the top, sweep all the way down, then go back up, mop all the way down. And there was just cunts there who were like off their face. And I remember someone shat in the lift. And I was like, I called. It was 2 guys called Gary and Larry worked there. And
That's
genuinely, and they've been there for 30 years. And the pay was awful. This is what, like 2008 or something. Pay was terrible. And I remember seeing the shit in the lift, and I called them and was like, "There's a shit in the lift." And like, "Yeah, clean it up," you know. And I quit then because I was like, "This isn't. I'm not doing that."
Oh,
you know?
good. Oh, you didn't clean up the shit.
No way. Well, it just wasn't. It was just not worth it.
Were Gary and like
It's a
Larry,
human shit.
were they phased by it? They're like,
No, not
yeah,
at all.
yeah.
That was a regular. They go, "Yeah, do it."
So what was it? Commission flats? Do you saying like a
So it's like,
housing?
it was like, what were they called? Like Portnall, Tugmore. I can't remember. They had a different name. So it's like block here, block here, block here, block here, and then a sort of shitty garden in the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of thing.
And they're all residential.
They were residential, but they were part of the same housing scheme.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it
right.
wasn't quite like big tower block estate, but it was sort of in between that, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a precious shit as well. Doing a shit in an elevator. That's a fucking.
You've only got seconds.
Yeah, that's a skill.
Well, it was, I think, about 20 floors.
Oh yeah. Okay, you got
So
time.
you'd have to be ready.
We could squeeze it out from sort of 25, floor 25 to floor 20.
I've pissed.
And your trousers are up and buckled by the ground.
I've pissed in an elevator once when I was
What?
young.
Really?
When you were little.
Yeah. Well, no.
You're an
I
adult.
was-
Your haircut told me that.
Once again, the cocaine story and the pissing, dude. This one was risky because it was only 4. It was in a car park and it was 4 stories or whatever.
Yeah.
But me and my mate Chris were pissing, and the worst part, we're like, "Oh, it's 1 a.m. There'll be fucking if it opens, there'll be no one there." And the door opened, and there was just a family, like a mum and dad, and like 2 little kids. And I was like, "This is on you for having your kids out this late." And I couldn't,
absolutely
but we
not.
couldn't.
It's
You know
not
when you
them at all. They could have just been at the hospital visiting their grandma. And they go, "Mummy, it's apple juice."
Yeah. And you know when you drink so much you can't stop, and I was just remember going like, I'm sorry. Yeah.
no.
This is
Doors
awful
closed.
story, Brett.
Yeah.
Did you have the mullet?
I would have had the stump, like not as long as this, but
And with the mullet, has that made a comeback or has that never gone away here?
it's never gone. It's come back in a trendy way. So
Okay.
like it was. I've gone through 2 sweeps of it. So it was kind of like there was a filthy stage where it actually existed. Then there was people who had mullets, and then it became trendy again.
What do you mean the filthy stage? When it
Like
actually-
when it was actually like fucking bogans that had them.
Yeah.
Right, proper bogans.
Yeah.
And then it became ironic,
Yeah,
maybe
okay.
5 years ago, like, oh, and now it's the lesbian community have adopted it.
But Brett's had it. How long have you had it for? 10 years?
10 years? Yeah. Yeah. But I did it as a joke though.
Yeah.
Like I am a bit of a
This
bogan.
mustache started as a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always starts as a joke, mate.
What did you? and then the gigs start coming. and you're like, well, I can't get rid of it
yeah,
now.
you can't live without it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fucking part of the paycheck.
Yeah.
But I did it to ruin my brother's wedding photos.
Ah, I see. Nice.
Yeah, like a real cunt move.
Yeah, yeah.
He was getting married in Bali, and I said, if you ever get married in Bali, I'm rocking up with a mullet and ruining
Okay.
your wedding photos. And he got married in Bali, so I rocked up with a mullet.
Nice.
And then I just haven't got rid of it.
Yeah. And so what is a bogan in terms of like, because I have a vague idea.
Well, so I say we're regnecks with cash.
So it's like the guys who do the mines and...
Yeah. So there's also, because some people will go, oh, Brett's a bogan. I'm like, no, you haven't met proper bogans then. Like if you go to like Perth, where I'm from, there's some real fucking rough kids that drop out of school in year 8, love fighting, drink Jack Daniels, teeth rotted out of their head, and they only, watch the supercars on the weekend.
Well,
Therefore,
you'd have rough bogans and tidy bogans. So
Yeah.
the bogans who have like a cooler on there, like a stubby cooler, and then they've got the bogans who will drink
Tidy
out of-
bogan.
Tidy,
You just need a cooler for your
That's
beer.
it, and you're fine. Exactly. I put a comb through your mullet, and that's it. You're
Yeah,
tidy.
yeah,
because you don't really
yeah.
have bogans in America. Sorry, in
No.
the
The
UK.
people who would be travelling to Bodrum and to
Yeah,
Budapest
so what they
and
were
stuff.
called...
Chavs?
We used to call them chavs. Kevs was another name.
Kevs.
Yeah, so it's kind of like... I mean, chavs was now considered bad. It used to stand for Council House and Violence.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but in the
Shit.
noughties, we went through a real like era of like chav bashing. So the papers were constantly like, "Look at this single mother with 12 kids smoking a fag." You know what I mean? It was like that, and we'd whack them on TV. We had a show called the Jeremy Kyle Show,
Oh yes, I've heard of
and
this.
it'd be like people with a very low IQ would be coerced onto the show and it'd be like, you know, my fucking dad's my brother, but I still love him and we're getting married next week.
So
You know,
it's like
and
Jeremy
would be like, you're disgusting, you piece of shit. And it was on daytime TV, so people could sort of sit home and watch these people with these awful lives and be like, I'm better than you, cunt.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Jerry Springer, is that?
Yeah, it was. But it was actually nastier because Jerry Springer pretended to have a sort of point at the end of it, whereas Jeremy Kyle didn't. I think quite a lot of people committed suicide after his show.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's a really unpleasant person.
He's still alive?
He's still alive. He's got a show on TalkSport. But he was it was all, it's just meet Britain's youngest mum, and he'd be like, slag, you thought about doing your GCSEs, and she's fucking 12 or whatever, you know what I mean?
Awful.
And they're paying her money, so they're excited.
Probably
they're on
not
TV.
even, probably give him 50 quid, you know?
Yeah, right.
And there'd be like some guy who was just fucking ugly, and but it'd be like how I've shagged 60 women a weekend, and Jeremy would be like, I don't believe that's possible. Look at you.
Were they all donkeys?
You're
What do you-
awful.
Yeah. And he just judged them, but it's like, mate, this is your show. You're the worst part of all of it. Literally.
I'd rather be that ugly guy getting 60 roots than fucking you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing what they used to let fly on daytime TV because they knew kids were at school. It's like,
Everything's changed so much, you
'cause
know.
it'd be kids programming or whatever, but if you had a sick day, there'd be like a show at 12 o'clock that was just horny as fuck and they're rooting, or it would be like Jerry Springer and you're like, should I be watching this?
Yeah. Well, I remember Britney Spears' what was it, Hit Me Baby One More Time song? Do you remember that? And there's the video of her in the school uniform.
Yep.
And that the whole joke around that was like, it's the only music video my dad likes to watch. Your dad's a nonce.
She's 16.
But that was a mainstream thing. That was like, oh, this is the one dad likes. It wasn't considered like that was bad.
Yeah.
The fact that school uniform used to be a kink is fucking disgusting.
It's gross.
It still fucking is, isn't it? You can, like on the
Well,
fucking
I'm sure,
websites,
yeah,
you can
'cause-
still go like, oh,
The
schoolgirls. You're like,
websites? What do you mean the websites?
Pornhub.
Oh, I see. There you
I've
go.
seen all
Sorry
the
about that.
categories.
On the website.
I'm just trying to get down
the
to glory
internet.
hole, and the fucking all this other shit's in the way.
Too many letters.
Yeah. But I was saying, I've got this bit in my show as well, because it's like, you know what, like, obviously, being a fucking, newsflash, being a pedo is obviously fucking disgusting or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But if someone was mucking with kids, they'd be like, oh, he's a bit of a killy fiddler. It was kind of like a novelty.
Yeah.
It wasn't treated like a fucking serious problem.
Well, that's what people from England say if they lived in a village or a town or something. They went back when we were kids. They go, he's weird. Stay away from him.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
Yeah. Who's that big one that you guys had that he's on the TV a lot?
Jimmy Savile.
Jimmy Savile. I watched
Massive.
that doco and I didn't know anything about him. And I was like, what the fuck?
Well, he died a hero.
Yeah.
Literally, when he died,
Yeah.
there was. I remember his funeral being on the TV and thousands of people were out. It's funny, all these celebrities who tweeted about it when he died, but everyone always screenshots and forever they just get sent it. You know, it was like,
Sucked in.
yeah, well, because it was people who went R.I.P. Jimmy Savile. Da, da, da. There was one from Stephen Fry that always gets brought up.
Because have you seen Stephen Fry's husband?
He's like 12.
He looks.
Yeah, he's actually like 36.
Yeah,
but he looks
but
like a
he
kid,
looks. It's like, oh, that's just not a good look. You're gonna have to paint some grey hairs on him or something because he looks 14.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's,
He's
in
not.
his 30s.
What did Stephen Fry's tweet say? Like,
He said he was like met Sir Jimmy because he was Sir Jimmy Savile. He goes, I met Sir Jimmy Savile on a train once. Effortlessly funny, brilliantly warm, shall be sorely missed. R.I.P. And obviously he didn't fucking know.
No, of
So
course
he
he
met
know,
him for
but-
2 hours, and the guy probably was charming for an hour, whatever. Because the idea that these people are just like, well, I mean, he was. You know, like people go, I met Harvey Weinstein, and he was like so charismatic. It's like, 'cause you have to be.
Yeah.
To get in the door, you've got to be a smooth, you know. And all these horrible cunts who pick up hitchhikers, they're not just going to get it.
Yeah.
You can't just be
Scream at
wanking
them.
from the start, you know. You got to build up trust.
yeah, then you get your dick out.
But whenever Stephen Fry used to tweet, he would just get that all the fucking time.
Oh, people would like screen grab it and
Yeah,
play
just
it.
go, Sir Jimmy, da, 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 because it's like you're done, you know? You know what the internet's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Because it always there's a good comedian, Luke Heggie from Australia, because everyone does.
What's he called?
Luke Heggie.
Oh, he's great. Yeah,
He's
I keep
great.
with him the other night,
He's
yeah.
a great comedian, but he does one because comedians or famous people are psychos. So if someone dies, they somehow like make it about themselves.
Yeah,
so
of
it's like
course.
R.I.P. Shane Warne. I met Shane Warne, and it becomes about him. So
Yeah, that's
every
really
time
funny.
someone die, Luke Heggie will do like R.I.P. the Queen. Anyway, my show's at 5 p.m. on Saturday, and he like doesn't do anything. It just puts a
really
show
funny.
description after it. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude.
What was it like when the Queen died here?
I didn't even know. Like,
Okay.
yeah, it's not.
I don't
It was on the
Did you guys
news.
care or no?
I think we cared. I can't remember it though. We cared when Princess Diana died.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was big.
Really cared when
Was
she
that
died.
big?
Huge. I remember that. I remember where I was with my friend Jamie Jeffers. We were in year 6. I remember being really confused. My mum cried. My friend's mum was crying. I was like, we didn't even know her. I don't understand what's going on. And they were like, she was a hero. And I was like, did she do anything good? And then since then, I've learned that she was actually a very good woman.
Yeah.
And donated a lot of time and money to
My nan weirdly was my nanny's from the UK.
Royalist.
She was a royalist.
Yeah, lots of
she
old people
she
are.
hated
Yeah.
she hated Princess, was it Fergie?
Fergie.
So the dog was called Fergie.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
She's like, that was Nan's little win.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll call the dog Fergie. Get out.
But it's weird. In America, they love the royal family as well.
Yeah.
There's a
in
weird.
America, they do?
Yeah, I was in an Uber and there's this the lady driving was this black lady she was from the South, and she's talking to my wife about the royal family and how much she hates who was it? Camilla Parker Bowles.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, the other woman.
And she goes, she's evil. And then my wife was like, she was like, he was in love with her before Diana, but he couldn't marry her because the family said she was. And she literally stopped the car and went, that changes everything.
Oh my God.
But I think people do connect to it because it's like growing up, you want to be a princess. It's this mythical, like it's a crazy world.
It's
you know what I mean?
horrendous. They get none of the power. They can't do anything. You know what I mean? Like in the Tudor times, you could kill someone if they disrespected you. Now they can't do anything. So they just like you're like a shit. It's the worst part of celebrity because you can't do all the. I'm sure behind closed doors, but like not really.
Yeah, not
Everyone
now.
either
Like back in the
loves
day,
you for
yeah.
weird reasons or hates you. And it's just an odd level of fame.
What about Prince Andrew? Does anyone like him over there?
No.
Okay, no one likes him.
But the lady was from here, wasn't she? The 17-year-old.
Oh, I don't know if she was from here. I think she was American.
Okay, Virginia Gouffre.
Yeah.
She, I'm not sure how you say her surname, but I think she's been in a car accident. She like tweeted she had 4 days to live, which
I thought they said that wasn't her.
yeah, I think if you're tweeting, you're right, aren't you?
Yeah. They said, oh, that.
Yeah.
I think that's Stephen
But
Fry.
no,
what he
he's
said.
hated. He's absolutely hated. So he's kind of like he's hiding out in cottages on his brother's
But
land.
doesn't he live with Fergie though?
Yeah. But they're getting Charles hates him, so he keeps kicking him out of places, and his house is getting smaller every year. So they have these giant estates, and he was in the big house, and now it just keeps. And soon he's going to be sort of in a tent.
Yeah. So, he was the Queen's favourite though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was. Yeah.
He's charming.
Well, he was just. I don't know. I think the other
must
ones
have
are so
been.
messed up because he was never born to. Charles always knew he was going to be king at some
Yeah.
point.
He wasn't a threat.
So yeah, but I think it's a fucked up life.
Yeah.
It's
Did
a
you watch The
really-
Crown?
I watch bits of it, but I don't really care. You know,
Yeah.
people in England hate the royal family or love them, and I just
Right.
don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that they like whatever, like
I think no one.
they're like down with the monarchy. It's not a thing. It's like a fucking
Yeah.
like a little train village. It's not
Yeah, it's not like they're kind of more of it now. Like back in the day, I'm sure any of the beheadings and all that fucking cool would have been fucking sick to being a king. But now it's like, yeah, you guys are just a kind of for tourism.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I think they do well for tourism. Apparently they're bringing a lot of money. I mean, you just walk past Buckingham Palace and you go, oh,
Mate,
there's
I went to the
300
UK.
people taking photos of
I
it.
Yeah.
fucking hate the royals. I don't hate them. I don't have an opinion about them. As soon as I went to the UK, I was like, whoa, that's where the Queen lives.
Yeah.
And I was like, I took a photo out the front. I was like, that's sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was hoping to see the horse and cart and shit, you know? I was
Yeah,
like, fuck
yeah.
There's something like coolish about it. But, I mean, I don't really give
Well, it's
a
history,
fuck.
right?
Yeah.
History, but yeah, no, I think they're in. I think Harry and Meghan have like I don't know. I can't work it out. They're either like, but
Are they in
that
or
sort of
out
goes
now?
like that.
Yeah.
People, I think America hates them now.
Oh gosh.
I
She
think-
has
She
a cooking
She had her
show.
own
I mean, I don't know what
podcast
she-
or something. Or
Cool,
whatever.
she had a cooking show.
She's she gives me the fucking creeps. There was a weird point in England where you weren't allowed to slag them off because it was considered. when they first left and did their whole sort of press run, it was like, because there's, it was considered racist to not like Meghan and Harry.
Because she's half black or whatever.
Yeah,
She's black.
But then they did the big interview with Oprah. I don't know if you got that over here. But you're like, that was like during COVID. It was like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's sort
Yes.
of, the whole thing was, and it was bizarre that it was considered sort of punching down to find a prince and a princess annoying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so sorry, you can't give these two billionaires crap.
Yeah.
Who was a
Yeah.
famous actress in her own right before all that.
And they're
really
both like-
punching down.
I think a lot of people dislike her because of the sort of Hollywood aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
English people are very like repressed. Mm-hmm. And even, you know, she was talking, she was like, when I first met Kate, she goes, I answered the door, I'm wearing one of H's shirts, already annoying.
Yeah.
And she's like, God, no, you're calling him H. And you just go, come on. And she's like, I'm barefoot and I'm just wearing one of H's shirts. She goes, and I'm a hugger. I'm a big hugger. And I just, as an English person, you instantly go, oh. You know, and
connection,
you can see how that clashes.
Yeah.
Because I get it. You know, we're all sort of built into us to be like, not like that. And I think that's more the problem than the racial element.
It's just a cultural difference.
Yeah. No, I think it's completely. I think she's fucking annoying.
Yeah.
And like, he's a little wet fart. And it's just like, they're both really annoying. And then like, Kate and William just shut up. And apparently he gets pegged on the sly, apparently. But
Oh, what?
I mean, all the rules in this.
that was always the rumor.
Really?
Yeah, everyone says
All
he's
those,
getting
yeah,
pegged.
but I think all those, like, if you're in that rich thing, you're like, all right, I want someone to fucking do something weird
Yeah,
to me.
yeah,
You
of
know what I mean?
course.
But such a wild,
He's a future king. Peg away.
yeah, peg away. But
Yeah.
it's such a wild one to have like a crazy sexual life. You're like, dude, you were the most famous person in the
Yeah.
world. Someone is going to remember fucking your ass.
Yeah, I know, of course.
Oh my God.
And they're going to die in a very suspicious car accident.
And you're going to live in that castle forever,
yeah,
dude.
yeah,
You
yeah.
are not leaving.
Yeah, not at all.
Fuck.
So all right. So what is the worst gig you've ever done? 'Cause
I mean, I did one the other day. I've done so many shit ones.
Yeah, but like as in like one that's like notable where something fucked happened. Like I did one for Garmin and the lady gave me her Garmin watch, the CEO, to wear, but it was still connected to a phone. And then someone messaged the CEO saying, who booked this cunt?
Whilst he
And
was
it went off on
performing.
mine.
God.
Yeah, it went off on my watch, on her watch that I was wearing.
No.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah,
Who
I know.
booked it? And did you go like, did you
And
address
I was
it?
like, fuck.
Did you address it?
Yeah, of course
Did
I
you get
did.
big laughs?
Yeah, they
that
loved
that
it.
saved the gig probably.
Yeah, it saved the gig.
I done a few bad ones. I did one in America. I did a corporate. It was good money, but the gig was one of the worst I've ever done. Like if I wasn't getting paid well, I would have walked off after 2 minutes.
Yeah. All those corporate ones, you're like, I've just got to count
How long
down.
were you supposed to do?
45 minutes.
Oh,
And I did.
That's a whole show.
I fucking bombed.
That's a fucking full show, dude.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
never commit to
Absolute
45.
Bombing.
45 minutes of silence.
Yeah. And like to the point where like, I mean, the guy who booked me, he liked my stuff online. So he's the only person I thought, oh, they're all.
Yeah. Fans.
It was like a weed dispensary.
This all sounds like it's going to work.
Yeah, it all sounds like it's
Weed
gonna work.
dispenser, they're flying me to America.
Yeah, completely.
He loves me.
Mm-hmm.
This is a win.
All fine. And but you get there and then it's like a fucking. It's not like a stoner weed. It's like fucking gun weed, guys. If you know what I mean, like like Trump stoners.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're
Awful.
sort of paranoid type. So you get there and it's just fucking
This
weird.
guy's got a fucking weird accent.
Yeah,
Where's he from?
yeah.
Is that the King of England?
I know, completely. And he got on stage and he was talking. It's like a Fisher Price microphone, and the sounds just blaring off the ceilings.
Oh, like those
all over
shitty
the place. It's
speakers.
in a big warehouse. It's like 4 times the height of this. You can't see what that means, but just think big. And no one stopped talking when he was on. Like, so he just was like, last year we increased revenue by 20%. No one's, and he brings me to the stage and I come on. It's just 2 shit speakers behind me.
And whilst he's on, are you thinking?
I knew it was going to be.
This is going to be.
I knew it was going to be a
can't win
complete
this.
bomb.
And they've flown you over and all that shit?
Well, I was already touring there, but they gave money for flights and stuff.
Yeah.
So I went and I was hoping that they just carry on talking. I was even planning on like whispering my set so I could just do the time.
Yeah.
But they stopped in a like, not in a, oh, they just went, who the fuck is this? And stopped. And then I just sort of did the set and I kept just going, it's good to be here. Because I thought the only way to get through this is just to say, so happy to be here, come a long way. After every joke that bombed. just enough. Basically, please don't fucking turn on me was what I was doing.
Yeah.
I got up, there's a guy in the front row who had like this Hawaiian shirt on, dark glasses, just looked like some coke dealer from fucking Miami
Florida.
Vice.
Yeah.
You know, he looked like he'd been like
Fear and Loathing in
listening
Las
to
Vegas.
Diplo on repeat for the last 40 years. And I was just like, what do you do for a living? He's like, I'm a lawyer. And I went, imagine you get committed for a crime you didn't know, accused of a crime you didn't commit, and this fucking cunt turns up to defend you, thinking they're going to find it funny because look at him. And he was like, everyone just went, what? And this woman went, we like him. And I was like, do you like him? And this other guy went, yeah, he lets me use his boat. And I'm like, awesome.
It's a random riff.
Then you know when you just so heavily launch into material. You know, I was looking at this thing the other day. It's just what you're doing is just not that door. Let's try this one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you try and do it smoothly. They know what you've done. They know that what you were trying to do, and they know it didn't work. And they're like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
We're staying here where we were before. You're not getting out of this. It was horrific. Yeah.
Oh, no.
45 minutes. I did what my show was, because I was touring America with a show, and so what usually took me an hour took me half an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I started doing notes from old bits that didn't work because I needed to make up the time. You know what I mean? So I'm doing my gold. I started front loading my gold.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? So I'd be like, oh shit, try that one. You know?
Yeah.
So then the last half hour was basically just dog shit that doesn't work on a good gig.
Jeez.
So it was it wasn't a show. The guy came
That's
up to me at the
awful.
band and booked me and was like, my boss hated you. And I'm like, yeah, I know. They all did, you cunt.
And was he like, I thought you were great, or was he like, no, it was just not
He
good?
said it was awful. Yeah. The thing is with those people is they always turn on you as well. They'll go, I love this. And then they'll be turning around. You'll see them going, I thought it was funny. This is shit. Sorry, I don't know what. They feel like they've got to turn on you as well.
Yeah, they don't want to be the idiots like, no, he's really good. They're like,
Yeah.
that's not the guy I was thinking of. He sucks.
No.
I had one guy at the airport on the way back from Sydney, and it very rarely happens, but he's like, oh, fuck, are you Brett Blake? And I was like, yeah. Hey, mate, how are you? Oh, I've got something to tell you. I was like, I'll just get through security, and then you don't scream it from fucking two fucking
gates
lines away. It's like a psycho. I was like, we'll come have a chat, and I was like, hopefully the cunt's not there. Fucking great. Get through the security. He's like, wow, comes out of nowhere. He goes, yeah. I went to a gig in Mandurah. You were at a gig in Mandurah. I was like, yeah, I did a gig in Mandurah there. He goes, yeah. Took a date there, yeah. She fucking hated you.
Oh,
she hated you so much. And I was like, so you stopped me
That
and
is
yelled
so
me.
funny.
And I went through security. You waited 15
That is
minutes
so
to come.
funny.
He goes, no, I loved you. But this date I was on, she fucking hated you so much. I was like, why?
Why have you done
Why
this?
are you telling me this story? He goes, I'm getting there. She hated you so much that night she just fucked the shit out of me.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
And I just wanted to say thank you. But yeah, she
my
hated you.
God.
And then he
Oh
left.
my-
And I was like,
That's insane.
I didn't need any of that information.
God.
You
That's
didn't
so
need any of
funny.
that information.
Yeah. She fucking hated you. I was like,
What?
really? I'm not that hateable on stage. I can, maybe. Yeah.
No, I think you're very likable. I finished a gig last night where I was furious on stage. I finished the gig and I was leaving and I was standing at the lights and I'm always like, I would never want to hear what people are saying
No, it's
at
horrible.
the end. I never want to hear anything that they're saying. So I was at the lights, I was hitting the button, and then the guy, and there's a man and a woman behind me, and she went, she was funny. And I was like, no, I don't want to hear what he has to say. Because he's always going to, and he goes, she was so mean. And she goes, yeah, but I like when women are mean. And he goes, yeah, I guess so. And I was like, I wasn't even mean.
That's so
now
funny.
I'm fucking furious.
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
bashed
yeah.
him.
Yeah, hit him in the face.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing comedy for?
I don't know now, maybe 5 or 6 years.
Nice.
Not, yeah.
Did you start out here?
Yeah. I
In the
started-
Melbourne scene?
Yes, and then I moved to Brisbane for a couple of years, and Brisbane comedy is easier to get a little bit further. than
Really?
now.
Why is that more clubs and stuff?
It's
No,
a little
less
less
comedians.
comedians.
There'd be-
So it's easy to get more stage
There'd
time.
be 30
Okay.
comedians in Brisbane, whereas in Melbourne there would be like fucking
Hundreds.
200. But there's 20 out of that 180 or 200 are good. There's a lot of open
I better
micers.
be in that fucking list, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I'll email it to you. I've got the
Too
fucking
angry.
official list.
She's really mean.
Yeah.
And all right, so you're finding Australian audiences nice?
Yeah.
Great.
This festival audience are a bit different. I sometimes go, because I've been touring this show, so most for the last year, pretty much everyone I played to has come to watch. Whereas here, there'll be suddenly 2 90-year-old like Asian couple in the audience, and you're just like, "This, you're not going to like this." At all. You know what I mean? Like, and you feel bad.
So why are they
you've
there?
taken a punt.
Yeah.
And this is not
For you.
at all. Because I feel bad. It's quite.
You're like, we love Bugattis.
It's quite a dirty hour, so you're like, I don't want to say this in front of someone who looks like my grandma's age. You know,
Yes.
Like, I don't want to do that. So I wish that was different.
Yeah, sure.
Because I kind of wish I'd done 2 nights here instead of 22.
It's a lot.
We all think that.
Yeah, because I use up my
yeah.
audience, and then suddenly you're like, I've got a hefty bomb coming. I can just feel it.
Yeah,
The room's weird. It's just festival stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's stoked with their room. It's just you, Brett. Everyone else is like, the bloody lights and the this and the that.
I don't mind it, but I love when someone comes to your show and you're like, you're gonna fucking hate this.
Yeah,
I had 2 old Asian ladies who were like, I'd say 70, in my room for my comedy special filming, and you have to buy tickets to get in there. I was like, have you just fucking walked in off the road? And they dead stared me like, what the fuck is this? And then we had like a little bit of an interval and they just fucked off.
Yeah.
And I was like, you've paid $20 to be here. There's cameras. It says the special.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we'll take a gamble. I guess we've got nothing to do on a Sunday night. You're
What was that show called again?
that one was called Go Hard or Go Home.
Well, maybe that's what they chose to go home.
Yeah,
They went home.
You gave them an option, mate.
They went hard by making a risky decision to go see me, and they chose to go home after that. I was like, what the? I looked at him like, and Kappa's like, fuck, are they here for you? I was like, they have tickets. I was like,
Huge fans.
Huge fans, are you? And I might be like, yeah, I was fucking at the car park and I told some kind to fuck off. And they're like, yeah, this is not for us. Yeah, like, makes fucking sense. Now, we asked this of all our guests, what have you ever quit in spectacular fashion?
No, I've walked out of jobs without just
With
not
the
saying
poo.
anything.
They're
Human
always
poo?
fun, aren't they?
I
When
did
you
a dishwashing job and I just sort of left.
they would get that so many, they're like, once they're not there, they ain't coming back.
Yeah. And then you just sort of leave, and I think after half an hour they go, oh, he's gone.
We won't even bother calling him.
We recorded it recently with Chloe Petts, and I assumed from her, because I know that in the UK you have so many different accents, okay? With Chloe Petts, I was like, I feel like you've got a posh accent. She was like, absolutely not. With you, I feel like you've got a posh
Yes.
accent. You do, right?
That would be more correct than
Yes,
Chloe.
okay, yeah. You've got a really, so whereabouts are you from?
I am so I lived in Camberwell, which is in London. I was born there.
So that's why I was surprised when you were like, I cleaned up poo and dishwashing.
Yeah, but I mean for like 4 days. No.
Yeah.
No, I don't know why.
Why you've got a posh accent?
Yeah.
Did you go to private school?
No, I went to a state school. Actually, no, that's a lot. I went to private school for a year when I was 7 to 8 or 9.
Okay.
But then the rest of the time I was at state school. I
And
don't
was
know,
it-
but I lived in Devon as well, in the countryside. So I moved there when I was 10 from London, and then I moved back to London when I was 18.
And Devon's nice?
My dad's well-spoken, I say.
Okay. Because Devon...
He went to drama school, so like, you know what I mean?
yes.
That would be probably it.
Yep, that's what it is.
But yeah, no, Devon's good. But Devon's a country accent, so they're like, "Oh, how's it going?" You know, so they have a different. So I probably got a mongrel voice. It's weird because I got a review and they said his gruff South London accent, which everyone back home would be like, "Is Red putting on a voice when he's out?" Because this is definitely not a South London accent at all.
Yeah, you definitly sound posh. Yeah, you sound posher than Chloe now that I can.
Oh yeah, way posher than her.
So besides the walkouts, anyone's like where you just been like, fuck you, see you later, bye. I can't imagine you as a very confrontational person.
I can be. See, I either avoid it and then I blow it up completely. You know what I mean? So it's either nothing or like
Everything.
the worst thing. You know, that sounds worse than it was meant to. But you know, Yeah, I did this on foot delivery job up until like 3 years ago, where you had an app. It was called Urbit, and basically, if someone was like, oh, "I want some flowers," you could do it with like socks, t-shirts. But if someone like spilt something on their shirt at work and they were going out after, they'd click on this app and you'd go to the shop, buy it, pick it up, and take it to them. And they did it with flowers, and they did it with birthday cakes as well. But the whole thing was that it was eco-friendly, so all the people are on foot, using public transport or whatever. But I picked up a cake for someone. It was 16th birthday, and it was fucking pissing it down. And I don't think people really got the app. I was an 8-minute walk from the place.
Yeah.
And so I just walked, and it was just, the cake was getting absolute. I remember dying for a piss on the way, and I put it down and like ran around this alleyway, pissed in it, picked up the cake. Not pissed in the cake, pissed like, down this alleyway, grabbed the cake again, and then suddenly it was like I had to go up 5 floors of this place, and so I went up and I just handed over the cake and just started walking. It's one of those places that. It's like those sort of blocks of flats that has a balcony that goes all the way round, if you know what I mean.
Yep.
So I knocked on the door. This tough-looking woman answered the door, like 4 fucking staffs in the background with the dogs. And I'm like, just, here's the cake. And she instantly knew. And I was like, see you in a bit. And just started like fucking power walking. And then she just went, come back here. And I went back, and she'd gotten a tiered cake like an idiot. And obviously it just fucking, you know what I mean, just collapsed. And it was a complete mess. It looked like a plane had been flown into the cake. And she was just like, you got to take that back. And I was like, what? I tried to explain to her, like, I'm not part of this. I know it seems like it, but the thing is, I'm not affiliated with the shop, so I can't take it back. I'm the delivery guy, so it's, unfortunately, this is between you, my bosses, and the company, because I'm just sort of, because I couldn't take it back.
Yeah, because you don't have the receipt.
No, but it's also not my. They'd go, well, we'd have to speak to the people. So it's one of those things. I think this is why the business doesn't work, and they've actually gone bankrupt now.
And also, that girl had the worst 16th birthday.
Worst ever. But I managed to sort of I basically just sort of ran away. But yeah, it was. I felt bad for it because she probably spent about 15 quid on the delivery alone.
Oh my god!
The cake was probably 70 quid.
And you didn't wash your hands after the piss either, so
No, but I'm not touching the cake.
Like this?
Yeah.
Got like finger marks in there. I had to test it for quality control, well, thank you very much for joining us today, mate. Where can people find you on social media?
Red Richardson Comedy.
And are you doing any other tours after this? Are you heading to Brisbane or anything?
I'm going to Sydney, Perth, Brisbane and Auckland, if you've got
great.
Yeah. Right. Well, guys, get around Red Richardson. Thank you very much for joining us. If you're not already on the Patreon, please do so. We'll see you next time. Thanks,
Red. Bye.
I've been fired from a lot of places. I've been fired from so many places.
I went into the class one day, real bullets. Kill me.